and welcome to another night of being our best for 2026. I wanted to start off real quick by apologizing for being absent for a couple days, massive snow days. But tonight, let's talk about money magic that doesn't backfire and how to get truly intentional with your desires. Because money magic is a powerful and awesome thing that we can all work. But when it's desperate, rushed, or unclear, it can have some consequences that not many people like to talk about. Yeah, let's just say that due to my own personal experiences, it does get messy, it does get sticky, and it becomes a bigger hole to dig yourself out of. But tonight isn't about forcing abundance, it's about aligning with it. So wherever you are, take a breath, and let's begin. And speaking of breath, you know what? Just to get ourselves in the right headspace, let's do a quick breathing to clear our minds and be kind of a little more ready. In through the nose, hold, and out through the mouth. All right? You ready? And hold. Whew. So, let's be honest here. Money carries a lot of emotion for almost everyone. Stress, hope, survival, fear. It's all a thing. So before we begin, let's remove the urgency from the room, shall we? Because you don't need to fix everything in the next 10 minutes. You don't need to freak out that nothing will ever get fixed in a certain time span. We're just here to shift how you relate to it, which, believe it or not, is actually one of the best things you could possibly do to have your money magic work. So let's start with what not to do, because that's where most of the backfire happens. And I can tell you from experience, all of these things have at one point or another bit me in the butt when I try to rush things or shove things where they're not supposed to. Because if you're doing any type of magic while you're spiraling and your emotions are all chaotic, your spell will not hear abundance. Your spell is going to hear fear. It's going to hear feelings of unsafety. Or just sheer, like I said, massive chaos. And quite honestly, energy manifests better when your emotions are stable and your thoughts are clear. So if you're just flooded with all the feels, take a minute to pause, okay? Calm your nervous system and then get your items together. Not before, not while you're still trying to chill your brain. Do a calming exercise before any spell, but most definitely before money spells. And actually watch things happen. And another no-no is demanding exact outcomes, because anyone who has ever worked magic for a length of time and has actually done the work will tell you flat out, magic does not always happen exactly as you want it to. It happens how the universe says it will happen. So definitely try to avoid things like having a certain amount by Friday night, or this money has to come from a specific person or place. It must happen exactly with steps A, B, and C properly in the exact alignment. That kind of control actually blocks the possibility of what you're wanting or needing coming to you. There's plenty of doors, there's plenty of possibilities. Never, ever, 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 I cannot stress this enough, never demand an exact lineup of events. Nothing is worse than blocking a door that might not lead just to the opportunity that you're hoping for, but to even better ones. You see what I'm saying here? Now, also keep in mind that magic without action is legit wishful thinking. If you're asking for, in this case, money, but avoiding dumb things like budgets, invoices, applications, or opportunities, you're pretty much shutting your own doors. Okay? Spiritual effort with physical effort, it has to move together. And I can tell you right now that I've seen plenty of people forget the physical portion and wondering where they spelled it in work. It's just a fact, guys. You gotta do A and B to get C. This may sound like elementary stuff, but again, you would be amazed. Flat out amazed. Now let's talk about some ways that do work and do help you align with trying to get to your goals, okay? Instead of asking for a specific number, ask for support or help. An example would be asking for support in a goal you're trying to achieve, or that you attract stability with ease. Simple little things like that, okay? Don't try, like I said earlier, making a specific thing or that you have to have it now. Say that I am supported or that I attract. Those things are going to work far more better and align both your mental and emotional state with that spiritual request. Sustainable desires may sound not so forceful, but they do last longer and they do attract way more. So let's ask ourselves a question right now. Answer it in the comments or in your head, whichever is most comfortable for you. And that question is what would actually improve my daily life right now? Not fantasy wealth, not overnight miracles, okay? Though those are very nice. Let's talk about real support, real things that'll make a difference in your daily life. Like, all of us are always worried about staying caught up on bills, right? Or building a savings for a car, a house, a vacation. Reducing your stress levels, or even just, you know what? Creating breathing room for just being able to do the day-to-day little luxuries. What of those would actually sound like they would actually improve your daily life now? As much as it sounds nice to win the lottery. But that's where you need to strive to push your intentions, okay? Because money magic works best when it actually serves your nervous system and your ability to do your best in this life, not just your ego. Though, hey, if you need to soothe your ego, that's why we have glamour magic. Now, let's talk about a money spell that I've personally used myself on many, 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 many occasions, okay? And it is stupid easy, stupid simple. What I do is quite literally, I grab a white or a green candle, depending on what I got on hand, and it can even be as small as a birthday candle. Nothing crazy, nothing extravagant, though I do recommend a more of a chime candle for the carvings that I definitely encourage. Now for your white or green candle, you're going to put in either your name or your initials or your business. And then I highly recommend that obviously do your research, but put in a couple of bind runes. I always used Suelo for light, but I also use Barcano for new beginnings because I feel like every day is a new sub-chapter, if you will. But another thing I always also added were 2 planetary symbols. Jupiter's planetary symbol for abundance and Pluto's for wealth. Both of those are excellent add-ons. After that, I quite literally just lit my candle and I essentially started praying. Yes, witches do pray. I know it sounds weird, it sounds crazy. But I started thinking about all the things that would make my life easier. Whether it be gain more clients for tarot readings, or even have a possible opening for an event for me to attend. I would even also occasionally include just being able to find a way to pay my daughter's flute. Just little things that would make my daily life easier. And I would sit with that candle until I felt like I'd given all the things that would make my life easier. I would thank whoever was listening and blow out the candle. Super crazy, easy spell, right? And believe it or not, but it has actually worked. Have I gained a crazy life of luxury? Absolutely not. But I have been able to maintain my lifestyle. I've been able to maintain my children's needs and some of their wants. But most importantly, I've seen it work. So if you guys would like a video of that actually in action, please comment candle spell, please. And I'll be all too happy to do a quick one for that one as well. But as always, I am a firm believer of mundane and magic working together. So while I will absolutely give you that spell that we just talked about, I'm also going to give you some mundane tips to help kind of encourage everything to go along the way that you would like for it to, or in some cases need. And this is actually another thing that I do on a everyday, if not every morning. I make sure to do it every night before I call myself done and let myself finally diffuse from my day. And what I do is I recommend at least doing this for 10 minutes. I personally do it for 20 because I'm always terrified that I'm going to miss something. But set a timer, just 10 minutes to start yourself off with, okay? And I want you to look at all of the money that comes in, all the money that goes out, and what's coming soon. Don't judge yourself on this. Don't let yourself spaz. Try to keep calm. I recommend having a cup of some chamomile tea handy, or maybe even just a nice bottle of water, something soothing on hand to make sure that you don't jump to conclusions, that you don't jump into that urgency scared mode. Just be aware of how everything is coming in, how it's coming out, and what's coming soon. And then ask yourself, what small action will support me this week? One small action. This could be a phone call to check on an application or putting in an application, checking on an invoice. This could be a budget tweak. Maybe instead of setting aside, we'll say $20 for your coffee treat that you give yourself every week. Instead, take it down to 10 and put that other 10 where you actually need it to go. Just small little tweaks. But always remember, money will always flow towards clarity and towards where it's actually needed. But this simple practice will help create trust between you and your finances and actually create the manifestation that you're working on. If you'd like support along the way, I am always available for private one-on-one readings. Or if you're not quite sure that you want to do a private one-on-one reading, starting February 4th, I'll be doing weekly 1-hour live tarot readings right here on YouTube. And those will begin, again, February 4th, 6 p.m., 1 hour. And they're going to be live tarot sessions and oracle and bamboo, giving intuitive guidance and real-time clarity on any sort of money stress, life transitions, or big decisions that you're looking at getting advice for. And you'll always be welcome to either join the live or catch the replays, because I do plan on offering occasional collectives during those as well. But for right now, always remember this main thing before any money spell. Money magic does not need force. It needs honesty, consistency, and self-respect. You don't have to hustle your worth into existence. You're allowed to build slowly. You're allowed to receive it steadily. And you're allowed to ask for support, whether it's on our physical plane or the above. Just let your intentions be sustainable and your magic be gentle. And you'll see that your growth will be real. But thank you for sharing this time with me. If this video helped you out at all, please leave a like and definitely share it with your friends. You never know who might need an extra little bit of advice or a quick money spell idea. But until next time, happy spellcasting, and I will see all of you again soon.